Donald Trump 47%, Joe Biden 46%. They're basically in a statistical tie.
This issue will destroy New York City.
Every day that they can be themselves is a good day for us all.
And just have COVID.
Joe Biden's poll numbers lower than ever. A dude is led into a sorority by a judge. Also, the Biden administration has a win telling Texas what to do. Whoopi Goldberg has COVID. Some cities are outlawing mask mandates. New York City is crumbling because of immigration. All that more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. Thanks for tuning in. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually their name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker that is completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is Thursday, September 7th, the year of our Lord 2023. A lot to catch you up on. Like always, Joe Biden wandered off the scene the other day. Maybe that has something to do with his crumbling poll numbers. Who knows? And New York City holy cow. The bad policy that has been voted for by New Yorkers is coming to fruition. But before we get into any of that, I want to start off with this. LOL, that's a dude. A guy who unfortunately has some serious mental problems, masquerading as a woman, was officially allowed to remain in a sorority in Wyoming, according to a judge, after 6 of the sorority sisters were like, hey, there's a guy in our sorority for some reason, and I don't know how to put this delicately. Well, hopefully we're adults watching this show. The dude who has not undudified himself while changing in with some of the sorority sisters had part of his, he got excited, is what I'm trying to say, in as polite of terms as possible, because this is not a polite thing. The dude did what a lot of men do in that situation. Oh, geez, this has gone off the rails already. We're what, 2 minutes into the show, and we're already off the rails. But anyway, a judge rules Wyoming sorority must allow, and this is, I think, not the most interesting part, but this is a pretty big part, allow a 260-pound, 6'2" male into the women's only group and rejects the sisters' lawsuits. With its inquiry beginning and ending there, the court therefore will not define what a woman is. 7 college students, sorority sisters at the University of Wyoming, brought a lawsuit against National Kappa Kappa Gamma leadership over their policy allowing a man into the sisterhood. This particular dude, who you see. Look, let me make this picture bigger for you so you can kind of see the circle here. You got all the girls in their like dresses, I don't know, with the evening gowns, whatever. And they're nice little black dresses. This dude is in a sweater and a beanie, like also like woo. I don't know. The male in question, Artemis Langford, reportedly watched college girls undress, sometimes sporting an excited male body part while doing so. Sisters didn't like that, but the Kappa Kappa Gamma policy is that men who claim to be women are enough to be a part of the sisterhood, and a judge dismissed the case, ruling that Artemis, which, is that even a girl's name? Anyways. Sorry, what was it? Oh, I lost my place here. Ruling that from Johnson, from the right to define a woman, I can't read. I'm too befuddled by this crazy story. Basically, a judge says, yeah, we're not going to hear this case. That's too crazy. Too crazy that you think that the dude, the 6'2", 250-pound dude, It's crazy that you guys don't think he's a woman. You should be ashamed, said a judge ruling in this particular case. Now, the dude in question was on MSNBC yesterday, and I want you to watch this. No real commentary necessary. I just want you to watch, and more importantly, listen. Check it out.
It takes a very brave and unique person to do this, to be a first in a situation like this, and then to continue on.
I want people to know that everything that they've experienced, that I'm certainly not the first trans person to ever be attacked by elements in the media. I want people to know that it's never okay for that kind of scrutiny on a person just because of their identity, just because I'm trans. Every day that they can be themselves is a good day for us all.
That, of course, is the dumbest thing that anybody could say. Every day that someone can be themselves is a better day for us all. What about child molesters? Is every day that they can be themselves and live their truth a good day for everybody? No. Bottom line is there is a line, and you got to figure out and define those lines, or else you're going to get 6'2", 200-pound dudes who have a deeper voice than me in sororities, and judges are going to let it happen. Here's one of the other issues. I know that's kind of jokey and fun a little bit. We like to make fun of this sort of stuff. It's not funny for the girls there, but it's just it's an interesting look at the society that we currently live in. Where it gets to, where the rubber meets the road here is when stuff like this happens. This is happening in California. AB 665 and AB 957 overwhelmingly passed the California State Senate. Well, what are those? AB 665 effectively says that a child 12 years or older is professional enough as a person to seek mental therapy, mental health, whatever, for their gender transition without their parents' consent in cases there where that wasn't previously allowed. I should have brought, there's an AP report on it saying, the internet is making this law out to be something that it isn't. And then it states exactly what we're all saying, why this potential bill is horrible and damaging. But yeah, that's a huge problem. And AB 957, also in California, is this one is like if there's a custody battle over a child, and the child is obviously not in a good home environment where there has to be a custody battle, and the child thinks that they're a different gender or different thing in general. The wording in this is very ambiguous. Then the parent that, quote unquote, affirms the kid's decision to be a flying moose, or a girl who is a guy and a guy, all of those things, then that parent will get priority in the custody battle. Which again, it very loosely defines what that means. If one parent is willing to go further, like look at, if the kid says, I am a flying squirrel, and the parent says, well, I affirm you as a flying squirrel, that parent gets priority over when the court's making the custody decision. Now, if the other parent then says, well, I will get your physical surgery to make you a flying squirrel, then the judge may go, no, that parent just affirms your flying squirrelness. This parent will actually physically make the changes necessary for you to become a flying squirrel. And then the other parent comes back and says, no, I will get the physical altercations to make you a flying squirrel, and I will reorganize the entire house to make it appropriate for a flying squirrel to live there. The bottom line is, the thing is so poorly written and so vague in its terminology that it's going to be chaos for parents who are in the unfortunate situation of having to have a custody battle and apparently having a kid that is off the rocker, which is, again, unfortunate. Look, at the end of the day, all of this is sad, But society has to have parameters, and we need to define those parameters and set them up in a way that makes sense in the physical reality that we exist. Right now, that is not happening. So there's that. Moving on to this, because we have to move on, because, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff to get to. Elderly man wanders off. Joe Biden had some pretty bad poll numbers. I'm going to play that clip. Let's see. Was it the Wall Street Journal had a poll out over the weekend that had Trump and Biden neck and neck in a national poll? And new polling is also coming out that says a similar thing. Check this out, and we will discuss on the other side.
Within the margin of error, no clear leader. Donald Trump, 47%. Joe Biden, 46%. They're basically in a statistical tie. But what I will note was there was not a single poll conducted by CNN during the entire 2020 cycle in which Donald Trump got a higher share of the vote than Joe Biden did. So this is a vastly different picture from what we saw 4 years ago.
That is some very interesting context in all of this. What it means, we will see.
Donald Trump neck and neck with Joe Biden. Now, we're gonna lose some people here because I think some people are not going to necessarily like this. Now, for a lot of the people that are making the Trump case of like, well, yeah, like Donald Trump can't win a general election. That's why we need to go with somebody else, like Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis or Tim Scott or whoever. They're looking at this poll going, look, Donald Trump is in a dead heat with Joe Biden. Like the guy on CNN said, of the CNN poll that reconfirmed what the Wall Street Journal poll said, is that they're in a statistical tie, a dead heat for the presidency of the United States. The argument can be made, and I understand that argument, that, yeah, maybe Donald Trump can win a general election, which I think a lot of people would want to see. It doesn't really matter who the candidate is. It's just not Joe Biden or a Democrat that is going to put the country in further peril. That is the argument being made on the Trump side, which, again, I totally understand. There was another thing that was pointed out to me that I also kind of thought was fascinating. Joe Biden, his poll numbers slipped to 39%, which is below 40%, which is not anywhere near where he needs to be in order to get reelected. He is polling terribly. He's upside down on the border. He's upside down on the economics. He's upside down on energy costs. He's upside down on social issues. He's upside down on every single major issue that voters care about in this country. And yet, Donald Trump is only tied with him. So don't get mad at me. I'm just saying that I understand the Trump argument of like, well, he can't win a general. Okay, that if you're arguing that yes, he can, this poll does show, yeah, he maybe can win a general. On the other side of it, you're going, Joe Biden is one of the more unpopular presidents ever. On every single issue, the administration is failing, and the entire country, including Democrats, thinks so. I think there was one, it was like a third or 2/3 of Democrats said that, yeah, Joe Biden's too old to run again. And you have a candidate that bad, and the opposition party candidate is only tied? Maybe. I don't know. I can see both sides of it. I can see the people making the Trump argument. I can see the people making the argument for somebody else. Because in all honesty, again, whether or not you think Trump or not Trump on the Republican side, it seems to be irrelevant. Again, like I've said multiple times, I'm a policy person. There are several people on the Republican side that I like and I think can carry the torch of less government, more freedom. That being said, I think a DeSantis, Nikki Haley ticket would win 40 states. So it wouldn't be a dead heat, is what I'm saying. And especially with how unpopular the current administration is. But maybe some of the polling numbers is due to this. This happened a couple days ago, but this is Joe Biden at a Medal of Honor ceremony. One of the big ceremonies they have there at the White House. And he just left. He thought the ceremony was done and just left. Not that the president needs to be dismissed. He can kind of go anywhere and do whatever he wants. But this looked pretty bad. He kind of just walks off and everyone's like, hey, where's this guy going? I'm going to play that for you now. And maybe this is part of the reason why Joe Biden's poll numbers are as bad as they are. Check this out. If you missed it, the camera lady, where is she? Like right there. This little the camera girl is like, where's he going? Does he think it's done? Anyways, moving on to another thing for the Biden administration, but also just kind of like, well, this is fascinating. A judge has ruled that the state of Texas needs to take down their border buoy thing in the Rio Grande River. So in case you've been missing this, Texas has had enough of the illegal immigration coming into the country. And I feel like, do I need to re-explain why I call people illegal immigrants and or criminal immigrants and not migrants? Because technically speaking, all of those people turn themselves in, but considering that the administration isn't following the laws that are set in place to accept people that turn themselves in, or following any of the UN protocol that has to seek asylum in the first place that they get to, it's still criminal in my mind. So I don't call people migrants. But anyways, that being said, Texas has been overrun, which is no surprise. No one doesn't know about that. That's a great way to word things. Everybody knows about that, is what I should have said. But they put up a big buoy in the Rio Grande River saying, hey, maybe don't cross here. Now, we saw this in Arizona during the Obama administration, states taking it into their own hands to stop illegal immigration into the country, but more specifically into the state, and therefore trying to solve the problem on their own. The problem is the Constitution is pretty explicit when it states that border security is the sole entire job of the federal government. So, in other words, the Biden administration, when they saw this buoy, same as the Obama administration did to Arizona, sued the state of Texas, and a judge has ruled that the state of Texas has to take down the big buoy border that they have in the Rio Grande River. I guess it's being dubbed as a quote-unquote win for the president, and I guess technically they won the lawsuit. But at the end of the day, that thing was kind of effective. And if something effective goes away, the problem is going to get worse. Now, juxtapose that to what we're hearing in New York City. I'm going to play you a clip from New York City Mayor Eric Adams, in which he, who has been pretty vocally against the administration, is going full-blown, this is crazy, we're going to lose this city if this keeps happening. I've said a number of times that busing illegals around the country to quote-unquote sanctuary cities is the most effective political stunt I have ever seen in my entire life. But here's what he said. I want you to watch this. It's rather long. We might jump in a little bit, but this is Eric Adams talking about the illegal immigrant problem in New York City. Check it out.
Support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just in Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We had a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us.
That seems pretty unequivocal if you're listening to that. Al says, too bad for you. You get what you wanted. There was a hilarious meme that was like New Yorkers with the illegals in their city taking up all the resources and whatnot, and the kids in schools and all of the sort of stuff, which is not good. The meme was like, New Yorkers, we didn't vote for this. And then the clip from Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson is about to shoot the dude. He's like, yes, you did. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But I realize me explaining it is not as funny as actually just seeing it. So maybe go to my Twitter feed. I retweeted it. But yeah, it is almost hilarious. It's pretty funny as it is. It would be actually hilarious if it weren't for, honestly, the traumatic situation caused to the citizens of this country and the illegal immigrants. It's not good for anybody. But, you know, I guess that's how it goes. There was also that one point in there that I wanted to touch on that I thought was quite comical. He said, in the last month, we've received almost 10,000 people. To which El Paso, a city of, I don't know, an eighth of the size, a tenth of the size, a 20th of the size, I don't know what the population of El Paso is, said, hold my beer, dude. 10,000 people in a month? Oh, you poor things. There was a time where there were 10,000 people a day in cities like El Paso or Eagle Rock, Texas. So, yeah, sorry about your 10,000 people a month, New York City, that is apparently putting, honestly, the world's most powerful city in peril. Sorry about that. We've been having this problem for years, and what you're seeing a month, we see a day. And we have a tenth of the population. Anyways, so there's that. Got to move on. Moving on. Let's go to this. We'll go here, and then actually we have some great news that we'll wrap things up on. But city bans mask mandates. The city of Huntington Beach yesterday, I think and hope, will possibly be among the first, but hopefully start a trend of cities and municipalities and local governments and states saying, yeah, we're not doing the mask thing. There's definitive evidence. According to the New York Times, by the way, I posted a thing yesterday with the New York Times headline saying that masks didn't do anything. Will we learn a lesson? Again, from the New York Times. And I said, we cannot trust this hyper-partisan, right-wing, Republican-run blog. Obviously being sarcastic. Some people on my Instagram didn't catch the sarcasm. They were like, New York Times is not a Republican-run news organization. Like, yeah, I know. I'm making the point that clearly, if the New York Times is saying something conservative, saying something that conservatives agree with, it's true. But anyways, cities around the country hopefully will be doing what Huntington Beach, California did and saying no more to mask mandates. J.D. Vance, Senator, Ohio, is also putting forth some sort of legislation in the federal government saying no more mask mandates, which is kind of the opposite of anti-big government, which is what I think a lot of Republicans hopefully stand for. So I don't really necessarily know how to feel about that, but at the same time, maybe this is one of those exceptions where you go, yeah, you can't put kids in face diapers and send them to school. Doesn't doesn't work, doesn't help, and does significant damage to the kids having to endure that sort of thing. But even while normal, sane, rational people understand that masks didn't do anything, again, according to the freaking New York Times, people like Whoopi Goldberg, who currently have COVID and sadly missed the opening day of The View. They started their brand new season and Whoopi wasn't there because she has COVID. 7 shots later, and having gotten COVID a number of times before that, I'm sure Whoopi Goldberg was at home by herself in a mask, in which she said this, watch this with delight, as I did, and that'll be that.
I have COVID. I just have COVID. I'm still testing positive. Apparently, I have to have a clear test before I can come back. So, I can't wait to get back and hang out. But until then, it's me and my mask, and I'm sort of confined to my room.
Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg is by herself in her room wearing a mask. Good for you. Also, this is a dumb thing to point out, and this is only a visual thing, so if you're listening to the podcast, sorry, you're not going to be able to participate in this. But what room is she in? Like, we've talked about this before. Whoopi Goldberg, the oppressed individual who is oppressed by her gender and skin color, who makes $8 million a year on The View. Does that look like the bedroom of somebody that makes $8 million a year? I mean, I don't know. I guess to each their own. But my bedroom looks nicer than that. And I'll tell you what, I do not make anywhere near what she makes. I don't know. That's I just thought about that watching that. Yes, Jeff already commented, where's her maid? Yeah, dude, I don't like that. Is that not odd? Like, she makes enough money. Like, wouldn't you have a nicer place? Or at least, maybe she's trying to maintain that I'm one of you working people that watch my show when you're waiting for the dentist, because that's the only time anybody watches The View, in the waiting room of some sort of medical facility. Maybe that's it. Maybe she's like, I need to find a space in my house that shows that I'm just like everyone else. But honestly, everybody knows you make oodles of money. Why don't you put the camera in a nicer place? To wrap things up, I want to bring a little bit of good news. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that we did it? Racism is over. I know. It may come as a shock to a lot of you, but as declared by the NFL, racism has officially ended. How do I know that it has? Remember the last couple years after George Floyd and after all the crazy riots around the country that put such a weird spin on race relations in America that the NBA, the NFL, NASCAR, a bunch of the major sports leagues decided that they were going to take a part in the social fight that was really a fight against a bunch of made-up nonsense. But anyways, nevertheless, they did it. The NFL said, we are going to take part in this. They put little things on people's helmets. And most notably, the thing that I think was the most visible is the back of the end zone, where you see the red little circle there on the screen, said end racism on the back of every single end zone of every single team in the entire league for years. Now, the good news is that this year, they're not putting end racism on the back of the end zone. They're instead putting play football, which I can only conclude one thing, and that is that racism has ended, at least according to the NFL. Considering, look, it's such a horrible problem that we have to state we need to end it. We will stop at nothing to end racism. The fact that they're taking down all the signage that says end racism must mean that in their mind, racism has ended. So congratulations, America. We did it. Also, remember there was a Vanity Fair article with Rihanna in it several years ago saying that she would not play the Super Bowl halftime show because of the, I don't know, inequality or inequity or whatever dumb term she used. Because of institutional racism, Rihanna was not going to play the Super Bowl because of racism that exists in the country. And then several years later, this most recent Super Bowl, Rihanna was the halftime performer, to which, again, I concluded that we ended racism in its tracks right there. According to Rihanna, racism is over. Play football, the new slogan on the back of the end zone at NFL games. So, congratulations, America. We've done it. Crisis averted. We can all go home now and start worrying about things like fiscal responsibility at the federal government level. But that'll do it for us today, guys. Appreciate you sticking around, tuning in, all of that sort of stuff. Depending on where you watch this, I don't know. I forget how many places we stream this thing to, but it's a lot. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. Just type in Jobob, you'll be able to find me there. We're in Fallbrook, California, Saturday, September 23rd. Van Buren, Arkansas, Friday, October 6th. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Saturday, October 7th. Twin Falls, Idaho, Friday, November 17th. If you want to take us to any of those shows, it's going to be a hilarious, fun time. You can type in Jobob pretty much anywhere. You'll be able to find tickets to those. Sell out quick, so especially if you're in the Fallbrook area, San Diego area of California, and you want to come to the Mission Theater. Mission Theater? Yeah, Mission Theater in Fallbrook. Gonna sell out, gonna be fun, but yeah, you can follow me on any of your social media platforms. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great rest of your day. God bless America.